1. Penn State University Park campus approves 2% tuition hike. 2. Penn State approves tuition increase and buys former Piazza frat house. 3. Penn State tuition hike 2026-27. What students need to know. 1. Penn State University Park campus approves 2% tuition hike. Another tuition hike hits Penn State students, but is this continuous trend sustainable? For the fourth consecutive year, University Park campus attendees will dig deeper into their pockets after the Finance Committee greenlit a 2% tuition increase. This decision, finalized Thursday, continues a concerning pattern that directly impacts student affordability. And here's what's often overlooked: while University Park bears the brunt, Commonwealth and branch campus students are exempt from this increase, a policy that's bound to spark debate about fairness across campuses. Beyond tuition, nearly 2% jumps in housing and dining costs compound the financial pressure, meaning students' overall cost of attendance climbs on multiple fronts. Meanwhile, university employees receive some relief through a 3% merit-based raise pool. But here's the controversial angle: should institutions prioritize staff compensation while consistently passing costs to students? With trustees set for a final vote Friday, one critical question lingers: does this pattern prioritize institutional stability over student debt concerns? What's your take? Should universities hit pause on annual increases, or are these hikes justified to maintain quality? Drop your perspective below. Let's discuss this divisive higher education dilemma. 2. Penn State approves tuition increase and buys former Piazza frat house. In a bold move that's sure to raise eyebrows, Penn State University's Board of Trustees Finance Committee has given the green light to a tuition hike for University Park students, effective for the 2026-27 academic year. This development comes alongside the announcement of the university's acquisition of a former fraternity house, the site of a tragic incident involving student Tim Piazza. Let's dive into the details. In-state undergraduate students at the prestigious institution will see a 2% increase in tuition fees for the upcoming academic year. This adjustment was formally ratified by the full board in a decisive 31-3 vote. However, there's a twist in the tale for students enrolled in the Commonwealth campuses. They'll enjoy a tuition freeze for the fourth straight year. This reprieve is particularly significant considering the ongoing struggle with declining enrollments faced by these campuses. But here's where it gets controversial. Earlier this year, the board made headlines by approving a plan to shutter 7 of the 20 Commonwealth campuses by the end of the 2026-27 academic year. This decision sparked heated debates about the future of higher education in the region and raised questions about accessibility and affordability. In an effort to balance the books, Penn State sets its tuition and fees a year in advance. Last summer, the university approved rates for the 2025-26 academic year, mirroring the current percentage increase for University Park students. Commonwealth campus students, once again, won't face any hikes. For out-of-state students, the story is different. Those studying at the Commonwealth campuses will encounter a 1% rise, whereas University Park students will see a steeper 4% increase. Breaking down the numbers, in-state freshmen and sophomores at University Park will pay $20,878 in annual tuition for 2026-27, up from $20,468 the previous year. Their non-resident counterparts will shell out $44,574, a significant jump from $42,860. This shift in pricing reflects the university's commitment to managing its finances amidst inflationary pressures and increased costs for graduate assistantships and employee merit-based raises. Penn State President Neeli Bendapudi emphasized the challenging times higher education institutions are facing, particularly due to uncertainties in federal and state funding. At this juncture, she confessed, "I'm not confident that we can achieve a balanced budget without a modest increase in in-state tuition for University Park students." She assured stakeholders that this decision was not taken lightly, acknowledging the importance of affordable education. This tuition hike isn't an isolated incident. The Pennsylvania state system of higher education recently implemented a tuition increase for the first time in 7 years, and Temple University also approved a 3.6% tuition hike for both in-state and out-of-state students. These moves reflect broader trends in higher education financing. Amidst all this, the state legislature has yet to finalize funding allocations for colleges and universities. The House's proposed budget, which passed recently, suggests that Penn State and other state-related universities may see their funding levels remain unchanged. Despite these financial challenges, Penn State managed to turn around a projected deficit for the 2024-25 fiscal year, ending with a surprising $44 million surplus. This windfall will be allocated to deferred maintenance projects across the university. And this is the part most people miss. In another significant development, the university plans to purchase the Beta Theta Pi fraternity house for $7.3 million. This property gained notoriety as the location where Tim Piazza suffered fatal injuries during a hazing ritual in 2017. The acquisition follows a legal tussle over the property's ownership and the university's determination to reclaim it under the terms of a deed restriction. The house will serve as temporary swing space, with its long-term use determined during the university's master planning process. These decisions underscore the complex landscape of higher education finance and governance, prompting us to ask, how can universities balance their financial needs with the imperative to provide accessible, quality education? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 3. Penn State tuition hike 2026-27, what students need to know. The price of a Penn State education is going up again, but the story of who pays, and how much, is far more complex than a simple headline suggests. In a move that will impact tens of thousands of students and their families, the Penn State Board of Trustees has officially approved a new budget for the 2026-2027 academic year, greenlighting increases to tuition, mandatory fees, and on-campus housing and food services. The decision, finalized on Friday, July 18, wasn't without internal debate. The proposal first passed through the board's Finance and Investment Committee on Thursday, though not unanimously, with Trustee Anthony Lubrano casting a dissenting vote. When the full board convened for the final vote on Friday, Lubrano was joined in opposition by Trustees Matt McGloin and Jay Paterno, signaling a notable division on the path forward. So, what does this mean for students' wallets? The answer depends heavily on who you are and where you study. At the flagship University Park campus, the increases are most pronounced. In-state undergraduate students will see their tuition rise by 2%, while their out-of-state peers will face a 4% hike. These same percentage increases will apply to graduate students at University Park as well. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part most people miss. In a significant move aimed at preserving access and affordability, Penn State will not be increasing tuition for any in-state undergraduate students across its Commonwealth campuses. According to Sarah Thorndike, the university's senior vice president for finance and business, this decision shields approximately 18,000 students, or a remarkable 42% of the university's entire in-state undergraduate population, from any tuition hike. This is really important for us as we think about affordability, Thorndike emphasized. Out-of-state undergraduates at the Commonwealth campuses will see a modest 1% increase. For graduate students at these locations, the tuition will climb by 1% for Pennsylvania residents and 2% for those from out of state. Other specialized programs are also affected. The College of Medicine will implement a 2% increase for in-state students and a 4% increase for out-of-state students. Meanwhile, Dickinson Law will see a 2% rise, and the largely online World Campus will have a 1% increase. Penn State President Neeli Bendapudi stressed that this was not a decision taken lightly. She acknowledged the immense pressure on students and families and pointed to the university's aggressive cost-cutting measures already in motion, such as hiring freezes, voluntary separation programs, and the deeply controversial closure of 7 Commonwealth campuses slated for after the spring 2027 semester. However, Bendapudi explained that without these tuition adjustments, a balanced budget would be out of reach. We're going to be facing Signif.